everybody. Thank you so much, Guy, for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you with our sessions. And congratulations for clearing CPA.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today so that there are so many other students who would probably be in a similar boat that you were in a couple of months back. And the purpose of these sessions is to reach out to as many CPA aspirants who may be, there but not quite there. So, what we are looking forward to is an honest, genuine conversation coming from a student who has cleared that journey and now is on the other side. So, welcome.
Okay.
This is,
Thank
I
you.
think, a fifth or the sixth session for our podcast series called Chapters of Change, where we are trying to figure out how this degree, which is US CPA, has been able to transform lives for students who've successfully cleared the degree. So, welcome and thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah. Before we begin, I just want to introduce you to our audience here who's listening to us. She is a senior accountant currently working with Harbor Freight Tools since the year 2020. And she has nearly 2 decades of experience across diverse sectors, including healthcare, not for profits, real estate, and retail. She is in California and she has recently completed the US CPA course. So, with that, thank you so much, Guy, for joining us today. Uh, See, the first thing that I would want you to let us and let everybody of us know is what made you sign up for the US CPA course?
Uh, I want to go back, like, when I got to United States and then
Hmm.
when I went for undergrad and then like, how I
Yeah, yeah. So you
started
can
to get
start even before that. Tell us something about
okay.
yourself so that a user or an audience would know your story from your mouth. Yeah.
So I got here in like 2000 August, when I was around 18 to come for university. And then
Mm-hmm.
I attended University of Cal State Northridge, and I got like finance and bachelor in finance. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I went back to UCLA Extension, and then I get like some accounting classes. And then at that
Okay.
time, I tried to sit for CPA, and I failed many times, many times. I think I passed like one rec. And then I kind of give up, and I have my son, and then so with the live work and my son, it's very hard for me to study. So I postponed my journey, and I always wanted like CPA next to my name because all my friends who went to school together, like they'll call me, oh, I have a CPA, or like I saw in the LinkedIn that was CPA next to my name, and I felt like kind of like I always wanted for myself, and then now like my son is 16, and then I decided to go back to master in accounting, and then that's how I started the CPA journey again.
That is okay. So, if where are you from actually, Guy? Where did
I'm
you?
from Burma.
Okay, so at the age of 18, you went to US. You did your bachelor's. You also completed your master's then.
No, I didn't. So I mean I did bachelor, and I went for a certificate program to
Yeah.
get
Oh
my
God.
credits in
Okay, so that means
UCLA.
now, like when you were signing up for CPA, that is the time you did your master's.
Yes, I did. Yes, so I just
Okay.
finished a master program.
So, how long back did you start your master's? Like this journey for which is like commendable. I mean, you were
Yeah,
resilient and you stuck on to.
2023.
Okay, so 2023 you registered for your master's with the aim to complete your to be eligible for CPA, and
Yes,
so I can assume that it's been around 2 years, and you
around
were
two,
doing
three
it
years. Yes.
parallelly, right? You were doing your
Yeah.
master's and you were writing your CPA papers parallelly. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And also how I started like master program is like I was a like interview panel in my at my work, and also my friends that who I hang out, they were also in the interview panel, and we see all the resume. Nowadays like kids are here, like they have like at least master. So I said, okay, like like if we switch a job or something, we need to have master in our
Master's.
bucket. So that's how like we started. But she went for MBA, but I went for master in accounting. So I wanted I
Okay.
wanted to try CPA again.
So, typically your 2020 you said you came, so that means nearly after 20 years, 2025,
Yes.
22, 23 years, you again resumed your CPA journey, and you were able
Yes.
to complete it in 2 years. It's a really commendable thing, and you did this with a full-time job and
Yes.
managing your son.
Yes. I have my son, 16 years old son.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that is commendable. I'm sure there's so many other students who are also in the similar boat that you are in, and they kind of, and I think that is the biggest challenge for clearing CPA is that you have so
Yes.
many other responsibilities, and you cannot say no, so you cannot drop any ball. You have to manage everything and juggle everything now. So you've done a commendable job. Okay, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Uh, okay, so how was, like, how were you able to manage it? How were you able to manage your office and your work and your master? So basically you were studying for two programs at the same time, along with a
Yes.
full-time job and a child. So how did you manage your time? And let's say if I tell you that there's so many other students who are in the similar, similar place where you're in, what is the advice that you're going to give them for managing your time efficiently?
So what I will do is I get up at 5 in the morning and I study from like 5 to 8:39 a.m.
Mhm.
And then I started working about 9 to 5 or 6 depending on the time of the month because sometimes we work long hours, sometimes like we light. And also after work and I study again. Well, at least I put in like 2 3 hours. So minimum a day I put like
Good.
5 to 6 hours.
5 to 6 hours in the day. And what about the weekend?
Weekend I put minimum 8 hours. So morning from like 5:30 to like at night, all I do is
Oh
study
God.
and I so for my
Oh
son like
God.
it because I share custody with my son 50-50. Whenever I have him like I mean I don't have time to cook, so I will mostly like take out and like something
Okay.
easier. So I have to give up something to have my study time.
But that's commendable. You're trying to tell me that on a, so we generally follow a weekly targets. So what you're trying to tell me is six. Even if I take an average of 5 hours a day, you're looking at 5 into 5, 25 plus 16, which is
Yes.
nearly 40 hours of study you were putting in, and you were doing it for the last 2 years consistently.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Oh
Because
my
like
God.
for me, well, I'm getting older, so my memory is not as sharp as when I was young. So I have to put in at least like 2 3 times more than like younger generation. So I put in a lot of hours.
And I can see that. I could see that in our physical classes, in our live classes when you joined us. And it is so inspiring. I mean, I don't know if you realize it, but it is not something that comes easily to people. And it is
Yes.
not something that, since it's not just for 1 month or 2 months, but what you're doing it for a period of 2 years. It's not easy to be so driven. Okay. So, I mean, you've done a very, very, I don't know if you realize it, but it's a commendable job. And you should be so proud of yourself for having gone through that phase. And you very well earned this title to be added by your name, with your name. Okay. So, I mean, it's really a very, very encouraging and a very, very motivating thing for a lot of other students. So, see, I have a similar thing that I hear from so many other students who pass through our academy, and most of them have a similar story. Either they have a very supportive spouse or they're trying to prioritize. So, see, uh, the biggest problem with CPA is it becomes a little difficult in the priority listing. You manage to keep
Yeah.
it your top priority for the last 2 years,
Yeah.
which is
Because I
great. Yeah, which
So
is
at the beginning, it was hard to get up at like a 5 o'clock. So I, so at the beginning, I joined the group section. Some people who live in a similar neighborhood, they get up at 4. So like they working like so I said, oh, why can't I get up at 5? At the beginning, it was hard, but like after a few weeks, it's become like I don't even need an alarm anymore. So I just like
yeah.
my brain like just get up wake up by
So
itself.
like, what was your method of studying? Were you studying in groups? I know you were doing some kind of a group study, but were you
Yeah.
studying in groups, or how? Like, okay, before we do that, let's just start about, like, which subjects did you start with? Like, which
So
section did you take first?
I started with FAR. And like the first time, that was the first time, but um, I mean, I got 59. And I kind of, but I didn't study that much because this is my the first
Hmm.
subject that I tried, and I tried again, but and I failed with 71, and then all my
Okay.
friends that who I study, they passed, and then I got like I said, okay, so I want a motivation, right? So I switched it to reg, and then I passed
Okay.
reg, and then I passed to CP, and I went back to FAR, and then at FAR I passed with like 80 something.
Okay. So I'm assuming you completed Dreg and TCP in first attempt itself, right?
Yes.
And then FAR took you some time, and then last was audit for which you joined us.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, okay, so in the morning and in the evening, so you had this kind of a group session that you did every day, or was it kind of
Yeah, every
some
day.
every day?
So every day, so it's hard to find like a study partner that who has the same consistency. So I felt like I was joking around with people. So I make an app that that who wants to study the same topic and also the same similar time frame. And then like I'll meet up with them, and then like I'll find it's like a dating, like you dating,
Okay.
you're trying to look for a partner that who matches the study style, and then like
Okay.
who has the same like like driven.
Okay.
So I was lucky to find those people.
Okay, and I'm assuming that all of them are as driven as you and as
Yeah.
working. And see, that has been my experience mostly with students who've joined me, that they've been very, very driven. I never
Yes.
had any issues with, telling people that you have to be on track. They were already on track, probably just a little bit of strategy, and that's it. A little bit of strategy, a little bit of push, but mostly people I find are very, very driven. So yeah,
Yes.
it's a very interesting story. I am very sure that your son would be very proud of you today,
Yeah,
because
he
at
is.
this age, when he sees you, your bar
Mhm.
has been set very high for him as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. How did you know about us, Kai? Where did you hear about us?
So, well, after I passed like far, and I was looking for a tutor, and along the way I studied with a girl named Parachi. I think like and then she said, oh, she knows a lady that
Okay.
who is
Okay.
like taught very well, and then she gave me your number, and then that's how when I call you, and then I joined
Okay.
the yeah.
And I think you were with us for around 2.5 months, right? You joined me
Yes.
somewhere after we had started with our audit sessions, and since then you did not miss a single session. You were there in all the classes, and
Yeah.
you also followed whatever we did in the prior
Yes.
sessions, and you were extremely serious about it. Uh,
Yes.
okay, so what, according to you, was your biggest challenge for CPA? Like, which section did you find very challenging, or which personal aspect of your life to manage with CPA was very, very difficult for you?
So for me, like FAR was a challenging topic, even though
Okay,
I work for financial reporting because the material is much uh larger compared to
the volume, yeah.
other parts, right? And also time management. Sometimes like when I'm studying or the group, that my son will ask me to drop him off at the at a gym or something, and I to coordinate with like study group, study time, and my family. That's the most challenging part. And also the clothes that when I sometime when I in your class that I'm closing too. So I have to tell my boss that okay, I'm gonna be out for like few hours, and then I will go to the section, and after that I have to go back to work until like so I have to catch up work. So I sometimes I work like 10, 12 o'clock at night.
And is this work from home, or do you have to drive to your place and
No,
then?
I work from home,
Okay,
so I save
okay.
time like driving. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that gives you a lot of flexibility also.
Yes.
A lot of our students who either have their own practice or they're doing work from home, they
Mm-hmm.
found it relatively easier to manage their time for CPA compared to those who really have to, have drive, go to office and come back. So that ways, I think that would have also worked for you. But being consistent for 2 years at a stretch, and this master's program is also like from home distance program, or did you have to attend the college?
So they have a how do you hybrid program. So
Okay.
the teacher is live, and then there's the students go to class, and then sometimes like we can also attend the class online.
Okay.
So yeah.
And
So
you were doing
sometimes
all
like
your
if there is like class fall on Saturday, Sunday, I'll go to the class, not just for like a class, it's also networking. So you got to meet
yeah.
with people, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Um, the biggest advice, let's just say three biggest advice you would want to give your fellow CPA candidates. Like everybody who is now in a similar shoe that you are in, maybe not able to clear in first attempt, or maybe struggling with the concept or struggling with the time management. What would be your three biggest advice to all your CPA aspirants?
So the first one is I focus on the concept, not memorization. So I see the people that who I study with, they remember the answer and then they were trying to finish like 90 question instead of like understanding the concept. I mean, they can answer it correctly when I study with them, but like they were not able to clear the paper. That's my first
Hmm.
advice. And then and then plan like realistically and then
Hmm.
protect your study routine. Like you need to be consistent. Like you
Hmm.
cannot make any excuses. Like five, you get up at five, even if you're sick or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You have
Okay.
to
Yeah. I
put
mean,
in
it's,
like
it's a
that
bad
five.
day. That's important. Okay.
Yes. And then like three is like and build a support system, like which is like studying with a group. So in the US, like accounting world is very small. It's not just like you study, you building a network too. And like so in the future, even though you pass CPA, they will help you to get a job and stuff like
Hmm.
you'll be a long time friend. So I highly encourage people to study in a group and talk to
So I
fellow.
Okay. Are you still managing that app? Because I'm sure there would be so many others who would be interested in something like that. Are you still managing it, or was it only for a personal use?
But which one?
The
Sorry,
app
I
that you
can't
were
hear.
talking about, the app that you were
Oh,
talking about, that you built an app and you would get in touch with students who would probably be on a similar topic or on a similar, similar drive than you. Are you
so it's like a WhatsApp group, right? And then
okay?
like I
Okay.
think
Okay.
mostly um they will join like I mean they get the number and I add them. And it's, some of them like most of them they already passed. But I'm thinking about like creating an app like to for the study to for
Yeah,
the study
because
field too.
yeah, see, this is still catching up in India. I have not found a lot of my students resorting to group studies in India.
Mhm.
And when you're talking
Yeah,
about group studies, is it like physically you're in one place, or is it that you decide
no.
that you're going? So it's their place, your place, but you study the
Your
same thing
place
and
and
you
I
make
use the
yourselves
so
accountable.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Not just accountable. Accountable is just you just check in each other. So that's like some study partner that they just want accountable, right? So oh, where are you at? What do you do? But what I'm saying is like I have a Zoom and then like they join and then like we try to solve the program together. And then
Mm.
so let's just say sometimes like you think that your concept is correct, but when you talk to those people that they have a different idea and then you can learn from them. Also like you talk to those people, you become friends. So that's
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because, in my opinion, what I have seen is the biggest challenge for CPA is to be consistent because
yeah.
there's so many things that you put that is pulling you down, right? So
Mhm.
at that point of time, it's really, and that is probably also one of the reasons why I strongly believe in live classes because it kind of
Yes.
keeps you in tab, right? You just have to think of
Yes.
1 week, 1 week, 1 week, and then you sit for the paper. So, but yeah, I think if you have something like that and if it has worked for you and it has given you results, I'm sure there would be many more who would be interested in something
Yeah.
like that. Okay, so I don't
Yes.
think you should shelf it just because you've cleared your papers now. You should do something about it. It has helped you
Okay.
so much.
Yes.
Okay, something very similar to what we just spoke. What about the flip sides? What are the biggest mistakes that you would want the students who are aspiring CPAs not to repeat, like not to make? So you said the biggest advice, the biggest things that you would want them to do is be consistent. The second thing you said was don't chase MCQs and the numbers that you're cracking, but chase concepts and understand where are their conceptual gaps and try to bridge those gaps. And what was the third one that you said?
Like build a support system.
Yeah, so it's important that you have a support system which will see you through not only in the in during the sessions, but also once you've qualified for CPA and you're looking for jobs or probably networking,
Yeah.
even that. So yeah, I think all the three are really good, and I think some form or the other it's still there. Maybe for Pixalearn it is a kind of live class. For you it was like support groups, but yeah, it really helps because, and also at the same time, when you see others clearing, it motivates you. When you
Yes.
see
Mm-hmm.
others not clearing, then you know that you're not alone. And in case if you have to, so it helps you build up a fraternity where it's okay to not clear in first attempt, and it's also okay to support others who are in the same. So basically you become a part of a fraternity, which is a
Yes.
big
Mm-hmm.
deal, which is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what do you think would be the biggest traps that CPA aspirants generally get into once they are into CPA? Something that prevents them from adding those three letters against their name.
So I noticed some people they memorize the answer, especially from Becker, and then sometime like the second is they're not consistent, like they have a family trip or whatever, like so they will
Mhm.
postpone the studying for like a few weeks, even though you if you break it for a week, like it will break the routine and it will hard to get back into, and then
Mhm.
and also not reading the textbook. So these are the things that
Mhm.
that the students should avoid.
How do you understand that you're memorizing something from Becker? Like, how do you realize that? Like, I know it now as a mentor when I look at a student, and probably once we twist the questions, I find that student struggling. So I realize that there are certain portions which maybe you're getting it right because you're doing it repetitively. But
Yeah.
how do,
Mhm.
as a student, how do you realize that you are rote learning a thing and not actually understanding it? So for a student who really is not very able to connect or understand, what do you
Mhm.
think should be the criteria for figuring out whether it's actually concept or whether you've wrote learned it?
So we will do MCQ together, right? And then like they got it right, and then I got it wrong, and then I said why, the reason, and then they cannot explain. So I know that they
Hmm.
memorizing the
See,
answer.
I found, okay, Becker is a great resource, but there is one thing that I've also seen people once, let's say if they've done all these Sims, and I've seen this mostly in Sims also, that if you do the Sims, after after a particular point of time, you memorize everything. And then even if you keep redoing the same things, it really doesn't help because it's just your memory test rather than your understanding test. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And yes, that is happening. A lot of students were not able to clear, especially for a subject like audit, is because
Yeah.
somewhere or the other there are gaps, and you will have to identify that gap. That is the biggest challenge in the first case, and then to bridge that gap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I met you like sooner before like when I was before was sitting for far. So what I do with Pixar Learning is like I will read the book and then like I will go back to outliner because I really love your outliner. That helped me because Becker is like very summary condensed, right? So when I read your outliner and then like I would understand it's more clear. And then so I have some slide that I printed out. I put in an Excel spreadsheet, and then before I went to the test, like few days before, all I was doing is like reading those slides, and then like
Mhm.
just the final review, Becker
But
final
what did
review.
you like the best in our teaching? Like you had a life, so this was the only life class that you had, right? All the other three
Yes.
subjects that you did, you totally did it on your own. So
Mm-hmm.
what really do you think that live classes and are good, and are they able to help you? Did you find it difficult to match it with Becker because we are not
No,
following
not at
any
all.
concepts? Okay.
Yeah, and the one like there are many things that I like about your the Pixar Learning. The thing is like we'll do like TBS, right? And then you'll
Yeah.
pick on the students, not pick on, so like you ask a question and then like that helped me alert and I learn because otherwise I'll just like listening and then now when
Okay.
you ask that question like I don't want to embarrass in front of other people. So I started like looking and then that helped me retain the information. And also the slides that help me memorize and the
Hmm.
concept better.
Yeah, see, the idea of having an interactive class is, it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. But once you get it
Yeah.
wrong, you will never forget that mistake. See,
Yes.
it's like if you have a passive learning, then probably you
Mm-hmm.
will again have to start from scratch when you're revisiting the lectures at home. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment you are there and you're there to answer questions in the live class, even if you make a mistake, that mistake never goes away from your mind.
Yes. And
That's
sometimes
the
like, I was in a live class, but they don't ask you the student questions, right? So I will be like gazing out or like thinking something else. But you ask questions, so I have to make sure that, I
You're
understand the
attentive.
concept
You're
before.
attentive. Yeah,
Yes.
so that is true. That is true because if okay, yeah, that's so true because the moment it becomes a monologue, then I've
Yes.
lost you. Then we're lost, right? Okay. Did you
Yeah.
like did you like the quality of the Sims, or do you think that the coverage that we had in a live class was good enough for you to clear the CPA paper?
Oh, it's more than enough.
Okay.
It's a,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, see, that is the idea. In fact, a lot of stuff that we have done is after taking very, very, regular feedbacks from our students. So whether it's a one-page summary, whether did you use those one pages that we built at the end of every session? We had those one pages. Did you use it?
Yes, I did like went over like high level, and then
Okay.
because I will use mostly
On the
outliner, and
slides. Okay,
yeah,
you
outliner, and
typically
then
did it
that
from
one
the
is like more
slides.
condensed, right? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, so was there any favorite exam for you? Like this was really easiest. This was something that took a lot of time. Would you grade
Mm.
something like that? Which was a paper that you found most difficult to crack?
I mean, again, far,
Far. Okay.
far for me. Yeah.
I just hope you would have joined us for a far sessions.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I all the audit like a 30-40%, it's a far concept.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Writing these papers. Now, this is my favorite question that I ask everybody who's cleared and is in the other side. Is after 2 years of this really hard, you got your master's degree now? Have you got it, or is it still
yes,
in the
yeah,
process?
I did.
So now you are a master, and you also would have CPA, Khine Zan,
Yes,
against your name,
yes.
right? These 2 years, is there anything that you're going to take along with you? Like, have you changed, or pursuing this entire journey, has it put something in you which wasn't there earlier? How has it changed you as a human being?
So first I thought if you, because I was failing a lot, like at the beginning, like, 20 years ago, right now that I passed, and I feel like, if somebody is a put the mind into it, you can achieve anything. Even though, I don't have like good memory as I used to, but you just need to
You
like
have worked
focus
very
and like
hard.
try.
You have worked so hard that I cannot put it down in words, okay? And I could understand I could understand the gaps that you had in your learning when you were in the life classes also. And it was commendable to see how you could bridge those gaps. And you would keep revisiting the concepts again and again and again, and you would not let it go away. And that was visible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was really
Yes.
visible. But yeah, that is so true now, and when you're talking about the age, there are people who are now like 50. We had a student who just cleared her CPA papers, and she cleared all her four papers in one attempt, and she is nearing 50 now. And the only idea was that she wanted to set up a practice. She already has a practice in India, and she wanted to I don't know if you've met her, but she wanted to take US clients. Okay. So what I
Mm.
realize is age, yes, age is important, and you typically have a feeling that memory, the way you said, your memory is not up to the mark, or your time is not.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the moment you and for you it's been a 20 years old dream, 25 now,
Yes.
frankly speaking.
Yeah.
After
Mm-hmm.
25 years, if you have the grit, if you have the resilience, and you're ready to put
Mm-hmm.
in that effort, it's commendable. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel so
Yeah.
elated right now to know that even it's a small part, we were a part of that journey. And the biggest lesson is your son has seen you go through that journey. So what
Yes.
he can never say that I can't do this. Anything in his life, he would know that anything and everything is possible if you put your heart, brain, and you're ready to slug, right?
Yeah.
It is so good. Thank you so much. And anything, any last words for our listeners before we end?
um, I mean, don't give up, like keep trying, and then positivity is like important. And I remember the day that, before I took the test, you called me, and then like you said like be positive, and I said, I always even like write in my notes that, oh, I'll pass, and I mean, and so I'll just put like all the positive notes in my computer. That exam
Yes.
cannot control me. I control the exam and stuff like that. And it kind of like, that if you have a positive mindset, you can do anything.
That is so good, huh? And it is such a good conversation that we had. And it is always so wonderful to see you guys cross that barrier, be on the other side, and know that you can do anything now once this is done. So, congratulations once again, Kai, and thank you so much. And wish you a very happy
Thank
life
you.
ahead. Okay, it
Thank
was
you.
so good to be a part of this journey, albeit in a small way, and wish you all the best.